And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
If it seems like I just did a review on a Ticket to Ride expansion, it's because I did. And this is the second in their Ticket to Ride map collection. And, you know, I've always kind of laughed at the Age of Steam fanatics and the fact that they have 40 different maps for Age of Steam. It's like, come on, guys, just how many maps do you need? But after playing this set, I'm thinking, I could use another 5 or 6 Ticket to Ride maps. It's fun playing on different maps. This is pretty neat. And I hope that they can incorporate them into their online and iOS games. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about this specific one. This is a map, a double-sided map that includes India and Switzerland. We'll take a look at both of them and see what's in this box. To play a copy of this expansion, you need either Ticket to Ride Europe or the base game of Ticket to Ride. So let's talk about each of the two maps on here. Now, Switzerland is not a new map. Switzerland came out quite a bit ago, but it was very limited, and most people only know it from playing it online. So this game kind of reissued Switzerland, this expansion. But for those who've never played Switzerland before, let me tell you a little bit about this map. First of all, this is the most ticket-intensive map I know of. There are many times in the game where the first couple turns I'm just drawing tickets in this game because tickets are the core of this game. It's not connecting routes, it's getting as many tickets as you can. And there's different kinds of tickets that are in the game, you know, your typical connecting city tickets. But there's also some tickets in the game that connect country to country or city to country. You'll see that there's 4 countries. You got Germany, France, Italy, and Austria over here. And each of these countries has several places. For example, Austria has 3 different cities that are in it that you can connect to. So if I have this ticket, for example, that connects from France to one of the other countries, from Germany to one of the other countries, if I connect from Germany to France, I get 5 points, or Austria, but if I manage to get all the way down to Italy, I'll get 13 points. And you'll see that there are several cards in deck like that for the different countries, and then there's some from different cities too. And you only get 1 point total for these, but you get the biggest one that you've connected. Now, on this board there are a lot of tunnels. Tunnels were introduced in the Ticket to Ride Europe. And the way a tunnel works is when you build in a tunnel, let's say for example I'm building in a yellow tunnel here, I will play the cards in the tunnel, and then you must turn over 3 cards from the top of the deck. If those cards are wilds or yellows in this instance, then I must play that many more yellows, or I cannot play the route this turn. So, if for example I play 2 yellow cards in front of me, and then I will take the deck and turn over the top 3 cards. There's no yellow, I'm fine. I leave the route there and I get my points and go further on. Here, 3 white, I'm fine. And, you know, so you'll see that most of the time, it's not going to have any kind of effect on you. But there will be times where here I need to play another yellow card because I've drawn one. Here I've drawn a wild, so I need to play another wild card. And here, if I drew 3 yellows, how terrible that has to be. I have to play 3 more yellows. But that's rare. Usually you can expect yourself having to play maybe 1, and at worst usually 2. I don't know that I've ever even seen anyone draw 3. But it does make the tunnels a little bit risky trying to complete them. You can do it with some cards in your hand knowing for sure that you can finish it. But at the same time, do you want to wait that long? Because routes here are going to be very tight. It's a very, very tight game. The last thing I wanted to say about this game is the wild cards or the locomotive cards. In this game, you know locomotive cards are great. But in this game, when a locomotive card is one of the 5 face-up cards on the table, you can take this card in your hand. Well, hurrah! That's great. Well, kind of. The problem is, locomotive cards in this game can only be used on tunnels. Now, a good chunk of the map is tunnels, so they can still be used in many places. But you're going to find that there are some pretty potent routes on the board where you're going to wish you had wilds, and you just simply don't. So they cannot be placed on there. So wilds are good in this game, but they're not as cool as they are in the original game or Ticket to Ride Europe. Now let's take a look at Ticket to Ride India, which as you can see is a map that is taller than it is wide. But if you'll notice on Ticket to Ride India, there's no tunnels. That's good. But as you look around, you'll see that there's a conglomeration of small routes. In fact, you'll see there are tons of single routes all over the board. And this is a very, 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 very tight map, similar to Switzerland. In fact, when I played this version of the game for the first time ever, I saw all the players put out trains on their very first 2 turns before drawing any cards. That's amazing, but it's because it's so tight here. The game comes with a pile of tickets that are just like the original, the other games, but there's a lot of tickets in this game because there's a lot of different places. But what makes this game unique is a couple things. One is the ferries. The ferries over here, they're not unique to this game. They're in a couple of the other Ticket to Ride maps. But you'll see there's a locomotive on these spots. So this is a 6 spot here, so you need to build 6 trains to connect this city to this city. But 2 of them must be wilds. And so that makes some of these longer routes and some of the spots more difficult to get. But let's take a look at one of our tickets here. Here we have Jaipur to Patna. Alright, so if I'm building, and I say, oh, that's pretty easy. I connect that train there, and I connect these 2 trains over here, and then I connect this route here. I just scored 5 points. It's a small ticket, but that's how small tickets work. Well, this game has something interesting. Basically, it gives you end game bonuses for the Grand Tour of India. And what that is it basically gives you points for connecting a city a completely different way. So let's say I come up here, and then I come down here, and then I go through here, and I can intersect like this is doing as long as I'm using a completely different set of trains each time. And there. Now the 2 cities are connected 2 different ways. If that happens over here, I will get a bonus according to this chart here. You'll see that if I connect one city like this into 2 different ways, I will get a bonus of 5 points. If I do it twice, I get 10 points. But after that, I get 20, 30, 40. So the first 2 are worth 5, and then after that, they're worth 10. And it seems difficult, but if you can set up a big circular route that goes all around India or cuts through India somehow, and you can get cities that are on different sides of that route, you can get bonuses, and so you can take a few small tickets. I mean, think about this. Let's say I connected 3 tickets that are 7, 6, and 5, but then I added 5, 5, and 10. That becomes a 10, 11, and a 17 ticket, and I've done them in a shorter way. So what India allows you to do is it allows you different strategies, and you can go for as many tickets as you can, like normal in any Ticket to Ride game. You can go for longest, connecting, and there's even longest route in this game, but that's not a very good strategy, I don't think. Or you can try for tickets that are in the same place and do the circular routes. Well, there you go. There's a look at what's inside both of these. As you can see, I really enjoy both maps. Now, Switzerland is a 2 to 3 player map, and it's good and tough and fun with both of them. The India one goes up to 4 players, but I'll tell you this, the 3-player India map is one of the most brutal games of Ticket to Ride in existence. Do not play it. If you when you play Ticket to Ride, you kind of like to do your own thing. You don't get to do your own thing in India. You are going head to head. The whole time I'm sitting there, tense. Who's going to take my route? Someone's going to take my route. I know someone's going to take my route. And the chance of me, it wasn't just paranoia, it was very true. We were fighting over routes, blocking each other. And getting that circle, I really enjoyed it. I don't know that I want to play it every single time. Sometimes it's nice to go back to the more wide open Markland or Europe or America. India, but it's a good map. I like Switzerland and India, but I like India much better. In fact, India may be one of my favorite maps from the whole series. I was just very impressed with just how neat that was put together and how that circular bonus really changed up the game. So if you like Ticket to Ride, I'll tell you, these aren't just 2 more maps. Both of them offer a very distinct experience. So Switzerland is all about getting tickets, and India is too to some degree, but wow. Both these games are not for the faint-hearted. These are tough games. I would never play either one of them with someone who's not played Ticket to Ride before. They're more for experienced players because these, like I said, they're brutal, tough back-and-forth games. But sometimes you just gotta love that.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.